Some might say I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I'd like to think that I woke up on a good one. Not the good side of the bed, just on a good one. I'm gonna start off by telling you a little bit about myself. I've been self-employed via leather crafting for over the past 5 years. And before that, I was full-time in my brother's repair shop for about 2 years while I was in college. And even before that, I used to help my brother out in his repair shop back in high school. So I'm no stranger or new face in this leather game. Maybe to you guys, I am. But I've been involved in the leather community for basically the past 10 years or more of my life. I've been watching it. I've been involved. I know professional crafters. I've watched Don Gonzalez go from a guy who has got 5,000 followers on Instagram with 4 videos on YouTube and watched him grow. I've been around the block. I am battle hardened. I know what it's like to go through the cold season and have all your bills depend on it. I've seen the rise of Facebook. I've seen the rise of Instagram. And now we are all living through the rise of TikTok. Which brings me to my topic of this video. I recently have had to adjust and adapt and catch up with the times. And in order to do that in the year 2023, that means you gotta find your way on the old TikTok. Now, this isn't your typical TikTok is terrible, type video. But we need to talk about TikTok and the state of the leather union. So with my introduction to TikTok and me getting on the platform, I've gotten a couple questions that are very strange and very startling. And I go like, why the hell are people asking me this? And those questions typically go something along the lines of, is this what you do? Wow, you actually make this stuff? How much leather work do you do like on a weekly basis? What's your regular job? And although those questions might seem pretty sterile or like there's nothing really wrong with them, what it's made me do is dive into, TikTok and the quote unquote average leather crafter these days. You see, what I found, with one video on TikTok, whether you hit it at the right time, the perfect camera angle, whatever it is, a person can gain 20,000 followers regardless of their skill set. Somebody can gain 5,000 followers, 10,000 followers overnight just because they hit the right timing on a song or a sound effect from a movie. So what I've discovered, gone are the days where artistic ability, craftsmanship, and consistency are no longer really relevant at all. Now, don't get me wrong. There's gonna be people out there who are well established, who've been in the game for 10 years, aren't as quite affected because of their client base. These people want to just typically shirk off, I got my customers, there's nothing to worry about. I've been able to survive off leather crafting for the past 15 years. What is there to worry about? And I'm gonna tell you that. The truth about what is happening on TikTok, to the average leather hobby enjoyer, awesome. To the professional leather craftsman, detrimental. Through my research and my digging around, here's what I've observed about truly what's happening on TikTok and the leather crafting community. You get a person who doesn't know anything about leather work, who starts doing leather work. That's fine, we all start somewhere, no problem. But what happens is they watch a couple Don Gonzalez videos. Maybe they, watch one of my videos and they learn a couple things on YouTube. All fine and dandy. Everybody is learning, that's great. I support people who chase their dreams. But the dangers of that are that these people go on TikTok and create little videos where, this is my second leather project ever, and then they're just regurgitating knowledge that they learned from a Don Gonzalez video or another YouTube video and position themselves as experts. Now, when you position yourself as an expert, to the complete average person who knows nothing about leatherwork, if you talk like you're in a position of authority or like you know what the hell you're talking about, they usually kind of just blindly believe you. So what we have now, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of beginner leather crafters basically taking over TikTok, putting out highly mediocre work of a person who's only been doing it for, 4 months to 8 months, which is fair, because if you're a beginner and only have 6 months experience, what other skill level, would you have? You would have 6 months of experience, which is fine. But the cancer and the inevitable downfall of custom leather crafting comes from the positioning of these people being as experts. Now, there's nothing wrong with maybe feeling free to share with other people, but that's not the reality of the case. A lot of these people, every single video that they post is just sharing knowledge and sharing things that they think they know. Now, the sharing of knowledge isn't necessarily a bad thing, but when a person who doesn't know why they need to avoid the hot stove, accidentally puts their hand down, they're gonna get burned as shit. So I'm not suggesting that we stop teaching information of leather crafting. What I am bringing to your attention or laying out on the table, when you look as a professional leather crafter who does this full time and has dedicated, 5, 10, 15 years to this thing, you can see pretty quickly when people don't really know what they're talking about. You can't give master lessons when you aren't even done being an apprentice. You might think you have a master's level of understanding, or because you watched a YouTube video and have tried something 3 or 4 times, that you all of a sudden know all the ins and outs. Well, Brian, it just sounds like you're being negative or you're being a hater and you're not letting new people into the craft. Now, do I think everybody should stop teaching? Should everybody sit there and leave hateful comments and, try and undermine all these crafters? No, not at all. Let me paint this picture for you. Leather crafting's not a huge trade, right? Because it's so small, it's so niche, there's only so many people. You take 1,000 random people off the street, maybe one person will ever buy something custom leather, right? It's a very not highly demanded profession. So let me lay that down for your groundwork. What has happened I'll say the past year, I'd say in about the past 6 months, the amount of leather crafters has literally doubled. Go on TikTok and look up any kind of leather crafting. You're gonna find that 50% of every leather crafter that exists on the internet has only been doing it for under 12 months. You can do this own experience on your own. Go check it out. 50% of modern leather crafters, AKA anybody who does leather work, which most of these people who are under a year's experience are disproportionately consuming the market of leather crafters out there trying to survive and pay their bills with the craft that they've dedicated thousands of hours to. So what's happening is you get crafters who have been doing this for a long period of time, who are providing for families, who've established their careers, who don't necessarily feel comfortable with basically thousands and thousands and thousands of new people all cosplaying, because ultimately that's what it is. Most people who I know are super professional, who've been around for a long time, they don't have a ton of time to be wasting doing bullshit TikTok dances and finding the next trending audio. So what you have is half of the crafters that exist now are people who are all more preoccupied about what TikTok filter, what TikTok sound am I gonna randomly be able to get lucky on and gain 1,000 followers overnight, or even having the main focus of what I'm doing be the improvement of my abilities. So what we have now is a bunch of people who are more preoccupied at appearing as if they're leather crafters. You know, they'll sit there and say, I want to get better. I want to get better. Like, you know, I focus on getting better. But really, are you? Like, how is it that in a past year, you look at your portfolio and you look like you haven't gotten any better at all? And now here, this right here, what I'm about to lay out is the sheer whole reason that I even made this video. And this is what brings me ultimate sadness right here. Because as a person who the only job I've ever had during high school, through college, and now professionally, what I'm witnessing happen in front of my own two eyes is we have all these people who are taking up the market share of this already small sliver of pie, which is professional craftsmanship. What happens is all these people are gaining mass audiences. You know, I've seen people who are 3 months into doing leather crafting with like 40,000 followers. And I know followers don't necessarily always equate to size of the business or income or whatever it might be, but it is correlated. There is no way on God's green earth that deep down you can sit here and tell me that a person who is 4 months into leather crafting with 40, 50,000 followers does not get a shitload of inquiries for business. So what happens is they have 40,000 people looking at them and they're selling to these people a much more inferior product, you know, and what ends up happening is, you know, all these people who maybe otherwise wouldn't have purchased something custom leather before now go and do business with this person who's brand new to it, who doesn't know hardly anything. They spend their good hard money. Mind you, the higher the demand, the higher your pricing, the higher you can charge. They're spending top dollar on a person with 4 months experience who doesn't know all the ins and outs. So what happens, not only is that person going to more than likely be disappointed with the product that they receive, you know, maybe not right away, you know, maybe they might not open the box and go like, oh dang, like, I hate this, you know. They might, you know, sit there and get this cool new belt from this cool crafter they saw on TikTok. But when the belt breaks down in 6 months and they come to find out they just spent $300 on some bullshit that they could have just gotten at a Boot Barn, they're not going to shop custom again. They're going to go back to Boot Barn. I'm not sitting here going like, you know, they took our jobs. That's not what I'm saying. Everybody has a fair shot at this. Everybody has a right to obtaining customers. But also, as people who have dedicated their entire lives to the crafts, we also have the right to speak out against it, or we also have the right to say something about it. You know, I'm not going to sit here and call myself a master, and I'm not even going to sit here and claim to be an expert. But what I am going to say is I've dedicated my entire adult life and my teenage years to the leather crafting world. It's so sad. It's so sad. Like, what people don't realize, and all they're going to hear me say is like, this guy's gatekeeping. He's closed-minded. Oh, there's room for growth everywhere. And it's like, what it boils down to is these beginner crafters who don't know what they're doing because the state of TikTok, because the state of the algorithm, because the state of how it is, what's happening is people are becoming more preoccupied with a trending audio, with a fucking, some kind of dance, you know, what filter, whatever it might be, to prop themselves up as an expert or as somebody who knows what they're doing, creating this giant gap of, I'm gonna use all this shit to position myself here when my knowledge is here. Now, everybody needs to, you know, self-promote themselves some, but when their main priority is sitting around on TikTok finding the new latest trend to follow to try and spike that even higher, is they're really taking advantage of their customers' attention. I hear all the time of like, the more people who get into something, the more popular it's gonna be, which is true. Leather crafting is no different than anything. It comes and goes in waves. Right now we're on a big wave because there's all these hobby people. They're all cosplaying, you know, I'm a leather crafter on TikTok. But what's gonna happen when that wave starts to decline? They spent all this money on some fucking trending TikTok star who they put all their faith in because they go, hey, this person has 50,000 followers. They must know what they're doing. This person's really good. And then they come to find out 6 months later, their fucking wallet falls apart. Their belt doesn't hold up. Whatever it is, gives them blisters or sores or whatever it might be. But they're gonna start seeing over time basically how shitty their product that they purchased off this TikTok star actually is. And they thought they were the expert, you know? So what are they gonna do next time? Go with somebody who, you know, maybe isn't as trendy or doesn't know, you know, who doesn't have, you know, 50,000 followers on TikTok? Most likely not. They're gonna go back to doing what it is that they've been doing before and purchasing from Cavender's, from Boot Barn. So if I need to be the martyr for all professional leather crafters out there as the #1 enemy of the modern TikTok crafter, then so be it. Because ultimately, my life is leather crafting. It's all I've ever done as an adult. It's the only job I held consistently through my teenage years. I bleed this shit. I will always be a leather crafter. Maybe, you know, maybe when I get old, I'm not tooling. I'll be running some kind of upholstery shit, whatever it is. My life is dedicated to leather crafting. My obligation is to the craft. However negative you think I am, however much this is pissing you off, just know there are very few people on this planet who have dedicated the percentage of their life to this craft as much as I have. My #1 priority is the well-being of this craft and to somewhat uphold the reputation for custom leatherwork that it deserves to have. Custom leatherwork is supposed to be superior than store-bought. It's supposed to have meaning. It's supposed to be crafted with love and care. I guess ultimately the problem that I'm having is that there's a time and place. If you want to be cheap, you want to be trendy, you want to reach out to the youth, that's fine. That is part of helping the craft into the future. It is. But when you're a person who's only been in the game 6 months and you position yourself as an expert, you're a fraud. It is what it is. Look, if you want to have fun in TikTok and cosplay as a leather crafter on TikTok, I have no clue why you would want to do that. But if that's your prerogative, go for it. Just do your best not to fuck all the leather crafters that came before you and who you got inspired to even be a leather cosplayer in the first place. So understand that if you want to be successful in this, it has nothing to do with what fucking trending TikTok sound it is. It's about creating a product that is so good, your customers come back for more. A product that is so good, your customers tell their friends, then they come back, buy more, and then they tell their friends. The word of mouth is still real. And if you spend all your time figuring out how to get customers and not how to keep your customers, that same concept, your customer's not gonna come back. Your customer's gonna tell their friend, don't shop with that person. And then their friends will go, yeah, I heard about so-and-so. They burned my friend Jim Bob or whoever. The more eyes you got on you, the more scrutiny you're gonna get. And when all the pressure of all those eyes hit you and you can't facilitate your own success through your own attention that you've garnered, good luck. Sorry, I'm an actual leather crafter. I got shit I gotta get done.